Welcome back. So it's been a little bit. Part of it's been I've been really busy. Secondly, I've been listening to so many albums that I want to make videos on. Jordy Greep, Godspeed Black Emperor, the new Chat Pile record is absolutely fantastic. But let's start off with the albums for September of 2024. So Dolores Forever, It's Nothing, mix of indie rock, pop, a little bit of folk elements there as well. What I do really like is that you do get a little bit of social and political commentary in there as well to give this album a little bit more of an edge amongst all the indie pop records that have been coming out this year. I did really enjoy this. It's a nice compact listen as well, about 30 minutes or so. Just a really fun and really just layered kind of pop record that the more you've listened to it, the more you can get out of it. So Dolores Forever, It's Nothing. It's their debut as well. If it's their debut, they're doing a fantastic job, and I can't wait to hear the next one. So Mustafa with Dunya, a little bit more kind of falling into almost this folk kind of direction with a little bit of R&B elements. I really like the instrumentation on this record, especially bringing in that Sudanese heritage, kind of having the instruments and the sounds that come from that kind of area. It just sounds really fantastic, and it really makes this record sound a lot more lush, sounds a lot more interesting. Not to mention, Mustafa just has an incredibly unique voice, and he uses it to great effect on this record. I really enjoy it. It's one of my, it's I believe it's in my top 20 of this year. Fantastic record. Origami Angel, Feeling Not Found. This is kind of going into that punk, kind of pop rock kind of lane, pop punk as well. It really sounds like something right out of the mid 2000s, especially the first few tracks just really throw me back to a time where I was really into Billy Talent, when I was really into Block Party. It just kind of throws me into that period of time. Not to mention as well, throughout the entire record, it does really like to experiment a little bit with different kind of tempos, different kind of drum patterns. Even when sometimes it can fall into a territory where it may feel a little bit formulaic or generic, it always has one little bit of piece of each song that does make the song interesting and makes the whole album interesting. While it can be a little long, I do think this record does warrant a listen for sure. I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's French. So, I don't know. But Mental. This is one of my biggest surprises of the year. I've never heard of this artist before, but it kind of reminds me of Rosalia's Motomami, and it is off the wall insane. It is unpredictable. It is incredibly explosive. Has some mixes of like Latin trap, mixes of some really amazing rock elements. There is a little bit of substance in the lyrics, especially when you get to the song. I believe it's called Anger. There is a lot of layers to this record. This also creeped up into my top 20 territory. I may make a video on this album because it is a very interesting and very surprising listen. I think a lot of people would really enjoy it. So Jamie XX in Waves. This is following up in Color. Get a little bit more of the dance, electronic sound. And there's a particular song, I believe it's Life with Robin, one of the biggest and most fun songs that I've heard this year. It gives me a lot of Daft Punk vibes in a way, but this album is just really fun. It's really groovy. It's really funky, and it's a really nice to see Jamie XX come back with this kind of record. Nilüfer Yanya, I believe you pronounce it. I'm not 100%, but My Method Actor. This is some really great mixes of some R&B and some light kind of pop. Binding is one of my favorite songs of this year. While it's like 4 to 5 minutes long, just this kind of the cycling guitars and just how soft and just how beautiful it is. The overall, this record is just absolutely fantastic. A really great surprise for me as well. MJ Lenderman, Manning Fireworks. I saw that it got a really negative reception from Fantano, and I found it surprising because I do really like the country folk kind of elements that are being thrown in here, especially Rudolph. There's a lot of great songs on here, and I do really like the songwriting on it. Especially, I can't remember what track it's called, but the first lyric is like, "You say I have a funny face, but it makes me money," and it just has this really interesting way of approaching lyrics. I think in Rudolph as well is just like Lightning McQueen in full speed. The weird kind of lyrics, but it makes the album really interesting to me, and it makes me go back to it to kind of understand what the heck, why is Lightning McQueen on speed, and it's deleted scene, all this weird stuff. But overall, I really enjoyed that record a lot. And Tori Ma Whole Earth, this is an album that I did do a video on. I still am returning to songs like Madonna. I am returning to songs like Off Road. There's a lot of songs, Undercurrents. Like, there's so many songs on this record, and I feel like Tori Ma, like I said in my review, really executed this kind of trap, this kind of really mellow kind of sound that kind of mixed with the rap trap and kind of that mellow kind of aesthetic. I'm surprised that Tori Ma pulled it off this well, and I'm still listening to this record quite frequently. So that's all my albums from September 2024. I'm gonna have so many records in October. It's gonna be absolutely ridiculous. We're not slowing down in the slightest. But if there's any albums that you want to recommend, leave them in the comments. I'm more than welcome to go listen to them. And I'm gonna try to return back to being more consistent. I still want to make a video on Jordy Griep, Godspeed, maybe even Chat Pile. So we're gonna get into all of those. But thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you again very soon.